Hi, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well. How about you?
Do you have a few minutes to answer a few questions for us?
I do, but I'm about to go on a walk. Can we walk and talk?
Of course. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, my name is Kaiser Aslam. I work as the Muslim chaplain here at Rutgers University, and I've been here for 7 years.
Nice. What's your Islamic background?
My Islamic background is I've had the opportunity of doing a master's in Islamic studies and studying abroad in Egypt, Oman, and Turkey.
Nice, mashallah. Are you married?
Yes, I am. I've been married, Alhamdulillah, for almost 10 years,
Aww.
and I am blessed to have 2 children and a 3rd one on the way.
So what do you think about Muzz, the Muslim marriage app?
So, I think it's interesting, the idea of marriage is so important and central to our tradition that it only makes sense that as we move into this age in which people communicate more often digitally, that we have apps and facilitation of marriage in this digital space as well.
What would be your advice to a Muslim using the app to use the app in a halal manner?
So, one of the things that really needs to be appreciated is marriage is a sacred part of our tradition, and it's got so many beautiful principles associated with it. It's the way how you start a family, it's the way how you have true companionship. So make sure that our principles really make their way into the way that we're interacting, even when it comes to an app. So things like modesty is maintained, things like authenticity, and the end goal is always to be in this blessed relationship, to start a family while getting closer to God.
What are some important qualities that a Muslim should look for in a partner?
So there's an interesting narration of the Prophet, peace and blessings of God be upon him, in which he says that marry someone for 4 reasons. And those 4 reasons are for their beauty, for their wealth, for their family, and for their deen and character. And if you choose the 4th, you're never going to be disappointed. But the way we appreciate that is each of those isn't a singular point. Each of those is actually a trajectory that someone is on. All of us at every moment are working on our beauty, the way that we speak, our demeanor, the way that we look, that's a part of it. You're constantly working on these 4 trajectories for yourself, so it only makes sense that your partner should be someone who can help you along your own trajectories as well. Hey, Assalamu alaikum Sana. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Good to see you.
Do you think it's important for 2 people to be on the same spiritual level when getting married?
That's a really good question. I think the idea of a spiritual level, I wouldn't use the term level as much, but on the same spiritual trajectory. Because we all have a space that we're at and a space where we want to go. And where we want to go should be similar. But if someone's not as practicing right now, but they hope one day to be praying more, they hope one day to be someone who fasts the month of Ramadan, and they just aren't there yet, but someone else is there, that could actually work, because in marriage you do want to actually uplift each other with the relationship itself.
What's a piece of advice you would give to someone in a quote-unquote haram relationship?
So I actually don't like the terms like something as a binary, it's either halal or haram, because there's shades in both of those.
Yeah.
But generally what I would say is stretch out the timeline. If marriage is something that someone is truly interested in, you want to protect your married life and your idea of marriage and your idea of family in the future. So start bringing those things back in. How would I want to be as a father? How would I want to be as a mother one day? What qualities should I have then? Let's start practicing those qualities now so that we'll be ready for it then.
What are some red flags Islamically that Muslims should watch out for?
So, of course, a lot of our tradition is about authenticity and being genuine. So if someone says they're doing something, but then they're not actually doing it, if they say, I'm very family oriented, and then you ask them a very, very basic question like, so how often do you call your mom? And they're like, once every few months. That tends to be a red flag. Someone who doesn't want to share their future plans as much and just stays in the moment, that also would, in my opinion, be a red flag, because when you're getting married, you're really trying to find someone who's going to be there for you through thick and thin. And what that means is when you are sick, when you are going through financial difficulty, when you have a child, when you start a family together, if someone doesn't have their principles in order for those moments, I would see that as a red flag, that they're not there for the long term, they're there for something else.
How do you feel about courting before marriage?
So the idea of courting or dating before marriage, if it's getting to know someone, understanding where they're headed in life, what are their major principles, what are their major future plans. All of that should be taking place, and you should get to know someone well. Marriage should be, of course, on individual compatibility, but it should also be in terms of where we're headed in the future. So it really should be avoided in terms of emotional or physical intimacy. And what I would define intimacy as is, I'll give the example of, if you looked at my wife and I's WhatsApp chat together, all day it's just sending back and forth memes and random videos that we saw, because I don't feel like I can actually fully laugh at something unless she's had the opportunity to laugh at it. Or if I'm having a really hard time throughout the day, I want her to know because it'll make me feel better that she knows. That's emotional intimacy. Unfortunately, that's something that shouldn't exist before marriage, because when it does, we get too worried about that rather than seeing if someone's actually compatible with me or not.